Hey everybody, we are winding down our Best Picture series here on CineFix. Today we have Mashable's entertainment reporter Jess Joho returning. Also, John Tomlinson, who you've seen around CineFix plenty. He used to do homemade movies. He's doing things you didn't know now. They are talking about Phantom Thread and whether or not it's got any shot at all to win Best Picture.
So Jess, what'd you think of this movie?
I will succinctly call it a empty vessel in a pretty dress.
Okay, all right, so that's a no. That's like a no, I didn't like it.
Yeah, I'm being as smarmy as the movie. I don't know if you're catching.
Oh, okay, cool.
Yeah, with that analysis. I found this to be so insufferable in so many ways. Like, it's just drowning in its own smugness and self-satisfaction, and which is like fine for a movie that earns it. I don't think this movie does. So yeah, I'll stop there.
Okay. Well, I liked it a lot. Actually, I was very familiar with the movie. I'm a big Paul Thomas Anderson fan, and there's all this buzz about this is going to be Daniel Day-Lewis's last acting gig. Whether you believe that's true or not,
I don't.
My thoughts on it was that it was going to be very still, not a whole lot happening, just crawling along. Really letting you like stay in the moment, unbearably so. And it was just going to be like a lot of anxiety and like people just like waiting to crack and stuff like that, and like
that
these
face
gazes.
is it.
Yeah.
That face is it.
This should be put on the poster probably. Right off the bat, I thought that it moved a lot faster than I was expecting. The score was a huge surprise because based off of the trailer, I thought that it was going to be like super minimal, but it's incredibly overt. It's a that's probably not exactly what it sounds like.
I don't know, it was pretty accurate.
But it's got a good pace. It's got it really moves along, and like his character was kind of a no nonsense sort of keep things moving kind of guy. Her character was very kind of no nonsense about the rules that he would set for his life. So she was always kind of forcing the issue with him, and it was kind of moving their relationship a little faster than I thought it was going to be. I thought it was just going to be like, I'm going to kind of be around here. I'm going to be like, around when you need me, and whenever you'd like, I'll be your girlfriend, if that's possible, if that's cool with you. But she was like, I'm really forcing the issue and kind of making it happen, kicking him in the ass when he needs to.
I just, like, your first half of what you said about like it chugging along is exactly my experience of this movie. I had the Jennifer Lawrence kind of reaction to this movie. I knew from the first 3 minutes exactly what movie I was going to watch. It's going to be clothes, and it's going to be this fussy guy that everyone works around. And I just don't think, especially in this moment, this cultural moment, I have 2 hours and 10 minutes to give to a fussy auteur type, P.T. Anderson, and also the main character included. I don't really know. I don't need a movie to actually come out and say, this is the message with a capital M. In fact, I actually love movies that just have an atmosphere, that just have a tone, a sense, and kind of explore that. But I felt like this tone that this movie is exploring is like, I don't really need it. It's just like, it's just this opulence, this kind of removed from any sense of reality. And then at the end, it kind of tried to be like, oh, and it's kind of about toxic relationships. Yeah. Like, but I don't know what it's saying. Like, toxic relationships are toxic. And, I think a lot of people are trying to retrofit this perspective that, oh, it's actually about the women and they're controlling him and all this stuff, and it's actually their story. I don't believe any of that bullshit. First of all, because he is the protagonist. Yeah. Very clearly, the world revolves around him. Their world revolves around him. Yeah. And this idea of that it's empowering, that it's actually about women controlling this fussy man, kind of buys into this stereotype of women being manipulators more than anything else, and like their job is to manipulate men and manipulate them well.
Their decisions were to kind of wrangle him, not necessarily step
it's
out
not
of
to
his...
have their art or whatever, or have their lives outside of him.
I thought it was interesting. I was trying to remember the last time I've heard that dude do his own accent.
Yeah.
Is that his own accent? Is that like straight him? Like,
I think he's like a Madonna-esque character that has an accent when he wants to.
Mm-hmm. But you liked his performance?
I mean, he's Daniel Day-Lewis. Yeah. I mean, he this whole thing is, this movie is, I think, predicated on like, watch Daniel Day-Lewis. It's, and nothing else really is at the center of it. And I just felt, I kept trying to grasp onto something that like might pull me in, might make this feel relevant to life. Like, I don't know what it's this obscure thing that kind of sits in this museum and has nothing to do with anything.
That is interesting, because I kind of went in thinking that yeah, that he was going to be this intense auteur who wanted everything just so. But I thought that he was going to take it to this level of kind of insanity. Like I sort of got this impression that like his needs were going to be completely beyond the pale. You know, like you're never to, you know, talk to anybody else, and you're never to like you can't walk a certain way. You know, but the stuff that actually irritated him, I could identify with.
You were irritated with?
No, but like
the breakfast
yeah,
meeting?
like you know, in the soundtrack, she's like buttering this toast. It's super loud, and I was aware of it, and he was the one to say, like, hello, that's super loud. So it, you know, I was sort of on his side in a weird way, not necessarily on his side, but I could identify. This is a bad person, but you know, I've been there where I was like,
right.
you know,
As opposed to like, and I think this might be like something of a gender divide because like I was like, God, I remember every damn man I've ever been with who I'm just innocently being myself, doing whatever I do, eating breakfast, and you get called out for no reason. Like it does, and the movie does make you immerse you in his perspective in this way that like does not leave room for anybody else. And it's this perspective that you start to sympathize with, but I don't really necessarily know that we should be sympathizing with him. Like, what do we benefit from sympathizing with this type of character?
Well, what do you think the Oscars will think about this finicky man in his film?
Yeah, about the Oscars are full of finicky men, so they might be a little bit more agreeable to this film. I think if the Oscars want to make a case for the future of film or something promising that is different, I mean, there's so many options. These are all really interesting filmmaking techniques that are being presented in other Oscar nominees that I just don't think this has enough oomph to win.
Yeah, I don't think it's going to win either.
No. Hey.
No, yeah, I don't think so. Not for lack of it, you know, being a good movie, but yeah, I think that there's just so many other things in there that look like either a better safe bet or just a much better, go for swing for the fences, you know, really make a statement that has to do with our times and where we want to go. So that's that. You heard it here first.
Band of Brothers, no shot.
Yeah. And I was going to make a joke about ghosts or something like that. You know, it's
lazy. You're buttering my toast in the wrong ways
yeah,
here.
Yeah.